there's not one genre or not one particular artist that has inspired my whole sort of musical career or my creative mind in general. So I like to think about it as going through phases or eras. Hi KLAT, cześć KLAT. My name is Malgola, and this is Get to Know Me with KLAT. Malgola is my Polish name. It comes from the longer version of that name, Małgorzata, which is like an equivalent of Margaret, I would say. But in Poland, nobody shortens, like hardly anybody shortens Małgorzata to Malgola. Most people would call me Gosia, but like that's not my name. Nobody ever calls me that. So Malgola is basically the name that my parents have given me. So I don't consider myself a lyricist or a poet because I focus mostly on the music part of music rather than the lyrics. But since I am a songwriter, I do write songs, so they've got to have lyrics. And it's almost like I write the lyrics a little bit like subconsciously, along with the music. So I would say the themes that I explore in my music would be those of humane nature. So I do like to sing about feelings, or I do like to sing songs that describe or in an impressionist way sort of depict feelings or moods. Okay, I've come a long way. I always write at the piano. That's something that sort of accompanies me throughout my whole life as a musician. It started with writing at my mom's like detuned piano and sort of laying that down through the voice recorder on a laptop and layering layers of piano and vocals, and it would be like super lo-fi. But then I suppose the programs that I've been using since, they've been influencing how I've been looking at music. And ever since I remember, I've always kind of subconsciously analyzed the music I've been hearing, sort of finding out like how things are done, like what is the sounds that I'm hearing. So I would take that on board, and with my development in the technical sense, like having better sort of, you know, workflow or better computer or having particular programs to sort of record music with, I would then develop my skills as a producer. And as an independent artist, I never felt the need to sort of like, oh, I need to be this or I need to be that. No, I can do whatever I want. But actually, now I'm finding out that it is important for my audience to have a little bit of consistency. And even though I feel like my musical persona still hopefully shines through my music, it might be a little bit confusing for my audience to sort of get what I am about. And as I grow older, I mean it as a person and as a musician, more experienced, I suppose, I'm starting to come to terms and like accept what I'm best at and embrace it fully. So I'm going back to almost square one and once again sitting at the piano and just writing melodious songs at the piano, and I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the nearest future. I would be a shapeshifter. A sort of character that can go from a comedy character, like almost like a cartoon character, and evolves into something like I don't know, like sad Colombina, you know, like a diva that's like completely wallowing in her own tears, you know? Yeah, I'd be that. I find it very difficult to balance the business side of things and the music side of things. I'm still learning to do it. I don't necessarily want to do it, but I know I'm, you know, sort of expected to, and I need to do it in order to sort of sustain myself. Yeah, I can't give one definite answer on that because I find it really, really hard. I've dropped one day of my day job to be able to focus more on the business side of things. But let me tell you, I don't love it. And yeah, I wish I had a team or at least one person to help me out with it. Maybe I will. I think it's always going to be the fans' reaction to my debut album, AB, from 2016. I basically recorded that album in my room together with my partner, and We sent it out to places, but we never expected that it was gonna blow out, which it totally did among the alternative music fans in Poland. That was a huge surprise, and I think back in the days, maybe I even took it for granted, because like I was just happy it happened, but I just maybe thought that this is what always happens, but no, it doesn't. So it was quite incredible, and I always come back to that and feel like, whoa, okay, that was something amazing. Yeah, that's a complex question, because I think it's always a work in progress. Like, there's not one genre or not one particular artist that has inspired my whole sort of musical career or my creative mind in general. So I like to think about it as going through phases or eras, you know. So probably when I was a kid, and what really drove me into music in the first place would be the music that my parents used to play at home. And that would, even then, that would be different genres, different styles, different artists from different, you know, eras as well. And then when I say was 10, it would be, I don't know, Gorillaz or Usher that would like really influence me then and like inspire me. And like through Gorillaz, I get to know all of the like alternative music scene, especially the American music scene of the 90s. And then it would be people like Elliott Smith and, you know, later on Beach Boys, and it's always been the Beatles as well. But then it would be bands like Super Furry Animals, who sort of, it's thanks to Super Furry Animals that I came to Wales in the first place, because they inspired me so much that I thought, okay, this is a nice place to be. So I like to think of it as a work in progress, and that it's, because you know, because it could be, anything could be inspiring. I always search and dig for more and more music. So it's going to be a different band or a different artist, I want to say every year, maybe even every month, every week. Okay, so I won't make up my own, because I don't think I'm able to, but I do have a song already called Pineapple Pear from my album Health, Beauty and Ghosts. And this actually is a song about the drink and about like enjoying life. And I'm not pro-alcohol. I don't want to like advertise alcohol at all, but I'm sure like a cocktail can be done, you know, like it could be still called pineapple pear, but like made purely of fruits, which would be great. But actually one of my friends who lives in the US, he created his own recipe for the pineapple pear drink. So I'm more than happy to share it, to share a link to that recipe on the YouTube channel or on my social media. Okay, so that definitely wouldn't be a day in the studio, because I never get the luxury to have a full day, because I have to work almost full time. So that would be after hours, you know, in the evening, which is still good enough, you know. I still feel privileged that at least I have this. I would set up my laptop, set up my piano, connect it all together, speakers or headphones, and I would probably start off with sitting at the piano and either jamming some melodies, or I would have a melody in my head already that I would work around. I would like write it down and work around it, like develop it, create the whole song structure, because I'm, you know, in a sense I'm traditional. When it comes to writing songs, I do like when song has a concept or a structure. So I would work it out in the process, work the harmonies, and lay down vocals probably, and then take it from there, depending on what song I would like to make. Then think about all of the like production and the arrangements, you know, all of the instruments that would be needed or not. So I don't normally consider myself a very collaborative artist, because even though I do come from a background of like playing in a band or in many bands really, I usually write songs in the safe space of my room or of my home studio now by myself, and I'm quite like selfish about that as well. Like I'm saying, I do like song structures. I do have a certain idea, and I usually know what I want to achieve with my music. So I'm only learning and sort of like rediscovering the inputs and positive impact that collaborating with other people might bring to music, and rediscovering that magic of like playing together, especially playing live. So yeah, I'm still learning to be more collaborative. My last year's album has been quite a good representation of that. It was a big challenge for me, not only from the organizational point of view, because getting all of the people, together, or getting them to work with me in time, towards deadlines. That's one story. But then sometimes it was, you have to put away your ego, put it aside, and be like, okay, this is not how I imagined it, but actually maybe that's better. Elliott Smith, definitely. I just admire his musicianship, but also the way he sang about the world. Like, I do relate to so much of how he was viewing the world and how he was getting his feelings across. That, yeah, I wish I could speak to that person. I wish I could get to know them, how they were in their real life. Pharrell Williams, definitely. He's a bloody genius, and he seems so full of life and so full of joy, and I don't know, I just think it would be so much fun to sort of get to know him. And then it will be probably somebody like, I don't know, like Ringo Starr maybe, or Paul McCartney, or one of the Beatles, because it would just be an out of this world experience. I mean, I admire their music so much, the Beatles' music so much, that, before they pass away, it would be just great to sort of have that experience of getting to say, oh my God, I got to spoke to them. Okay, I think most of all, I feel super proud of myself, because I feel like I've worked really, really hard on that, and not only on the application, but just generally. I'm in a foreign country. I've been here for 7 years, and I've been I feel like I've been paving my way to get to that level, getting to know the right people, getting to know the institutions, and just, sort of fighting your way around. And it wasn't easy, and I just feel like, it's still a long way to go, but I just feel like I'm just really proud, because I know I worked hard for that. I am feeling a little bit anxious, because getting the funding means you have to deliver, and you have to deliver quality things, and so you need to be that responsible adult now, and a responsible professional, which, part of me thinks, come on, you've got this, you've been doing it for years. But the other part is like, oh my God, but this is different. Am I gonna make it? But mostly I'm just really excited, and maybe there's a tiny little voice in my head that feels a little bit like, oh, it feels out of place, because I'm not used to sort of, being on the radio or being interviewed and things like that. And I just keep thinking, oh, do I even belong to situations like that? Is it my thing? But I think it is. I think it's good. It would definitely be a dog, because they are just the best creatures in the whole world. And maybe I will name him Fish, because I also like the sort of sea creatures and ocean creatures. I think they're fascinating. So yeah, I would like to have a hybrid of that.